Hello, world. Welcome to Queering Science, Theology, Philosophy, and Spirituality. This is the LGBTQ Center for Science, Theology, Philosophy, and Spirituality. And today, QSTPS is outdoors, and it's a very beautiful sunny day. And we've decided to come and do some videos. So today we're going to do. I started the video showing you the decomposition of the banana peel. And the reason why I wanted to show you is the beauty of life, the beauty of decomposition. Can you imagine a banana peel is yellow and it does what? It decomposes, it becomes black when you're done with it. It's beautiful. And this is a sign that we are always morphing, we are always changing. Reincarnation happens forever. Yes, and it's the process. It is the speed of reincarnation that varies. Like these banana peels, they have reincarnated into black peels from yellow. They started with green, then after they were green, they became yellow, and after they were yellow, they became black because of the change of position and the growth. Because growth happens all the time. You know, when I was young, I never had beards. I was a smooth-faced boy, and now I have beards. That's change. And later on, I may get white hair. So those are the changes we go through, and not everybody goes through those changes. Some people have few changes, others have very many changes. That's why in the sexual orientations you have transgenders. A transgender is not necessarily, can be a lesbian, but can also be a straight person, and can also be a bisexual, and can also be gay, therefore homosexual. So transgenders can switch very, very, very much faster and more often than a lesbian or a gay, because a gay person will just stay gay, will have very few changes. Even if they have changes, they will not have as many changes as a transgender. And that's what you need to know. Some people have more changes in their life than others. Some people will remain poor forever till they die, you know. Some people will be rich till they die. Others will be rich and then they become poor, and then they become rich again, then they become poor. Then others become poor, become rich, and then they become poor again, then they become rich, and then they become poor, and they die poor. So such a person has a life that is very different. So it's beautiful to see morphing, to see changes. All right, so now we are going to continue with our series of the ancient Babel, or ancient Babylon is modern Babylon, because of the fact that we have known, thanks to studying other religions and science, we have known more about Babylon. And when you have this new knowledge, it changes your views about that story. Now, so we already did part 1, and this is now part 2, where we're going to go deep, and we're going to look at the pictures from Babylon, which is modern day Iraq, and modern day Iraq. Good. So now let's go on. Genesis chapter 11, and the whole earth was of one language and of one speech. And it came to pass, as they journeyed from the east, that they found a plain in the land of Shinar, and dwelt there. And they said one to another, Go to, let us make brick, and burn them thoroughly. And they had brick for stone, and slime had they for mortar. Now, I prefer it here. It's better. I can see myself. I don't want to talk like that. So, the land of Shinar. There's something you have to get here. Okay, that's verse 2. It came to pass, as they journeyed from the east. Who journeyed from the east? The whole earth. the whole earth. What is the word earth here in Hebrew? Eretz, the whole country, all nations, the whole nations, all the nations of the world were one language and of one speech, all. And it came to pass, they journeyed from the east. Where is the east? Is in Asia, is in Europe, but Eastern Europe and Asia. Why is Eastern Europe called Eastern Europe? It is next to Asia, which is the east. And they came from there. That's what we need to understand. It's beautiful. And this is evidence. This is the reason why India is a very old civilization. China is a very old civilization. It's because the people of the world lived there or traveled there. So, and then when they came to the west, because when you journey from the east, it means you're going to the west, they built a tower, and the tower could not be built again because their languages were scattered. So where were they? In the land of Shinar. And where is Shinar? Shinar is a plain in Babylon, Iraq. It's beautiful. So, and the Lord came down. Okay, go and let us build a city tower whose top may reach unto heaven, and let us make us a name, lest we be scattered abroad upon the face of the whole earth. And the Lord came down to see the city and the tower which the children of men builded. And the Lord said, behold, the people is one, and they have all one language. And this they begin to do. And now nothing will be restrained from them which they have imagined to do. Let us go down and there confound their language, that they may not understand one another's speech. And so the Lord scattered them abroad from thence and upon the face of the whole earth, and they left off to build the city. Now look at that verse. It's confusing. The other part, they're saying that they were to build a tower, but this verse in verse 8 is saying they left off to build the city. So they were not just building a tower, they were building a city. That's what was happening. And that city now is called the city of Babylon. Now why we are saying this is because it's so beautiful that Babylon is even mentioned in the eschatology of John. John talks about that the last empire in the world will be the Babylonian Empire. Now, I have a different eschatology from John. I believe that Jesus Christ will come and build his kingdom on earth. I prefer the Jewish messianic eschatology, because for Jews, they believe that Jesus is going to come and set up his kingdom. You see, that's why when Trump became the president and then he declared that Jerusalem is going to be the city where they'll put their embassy, he was making a statement that America is now going to work in Jerusalem. And Jerusalem is a very important city for Jews, especially religious Jews, because they believe the Messiah is going to build the temple. And so that's why some rabbis have called Trump Cyrus, that he's going to initiate the building of the temple. And by the religious Jews take it very seriously. First of all, you need to know there are different types of Jews. There are secular and religious. And if you know QSTPS, everybody is one. Even if you're a secular Jew, even an atheist, you are one. Yes, it is not an easy thing to understand. And the reason why I say we are one, we share very many things in common. We have life. We eat. We interact. That is what unites us. We have human rights. Everybody has human rights. So that means everybody is united, irrespective of your religion. Religion is subjective. There is no religion that is right or wrong. It is just it's a perspective. Yes, there is no religion that is right or wrong. You have to understand that a religion is just a religion. It's subjective. It is your understanding of the world. That's all. So we have diverse understandings of the world. So for me, even people have diverse explanations of the end of the world. So for John, it's just very interesting that John thought of the name Babylon. Yes, and you have to question. These days when I read the Bible, I read it in a humanistic and human approach. I don't read it just in a spiritual approach. Think of him as a human being. Think of John as a human being. And when I think of John as a human being, this guy was so mesmerized by Babylon. And that's, all Jews that existed after the Babylonian captivity will never forget Babylon, because that's where they lived for 70 years plus. And some of them went back. By the way, not everybody went back to Israel. Some of them stayed in Iraq and Iran. That's why they are Iraqi Jews and they are Iranian Jews. It's unbelievable. So, but what I like about this topic is that John talked about Babylon. But I want to talk of Babylon in a positive way, because as we see here, the Jews, therefore is the name of it called Babel, because the Lord did confound the language of all the earth, and from thence did the Lord scatter them abroad upon the face of the earth. So the writer of Genesis is saying that the place was called Babel after this event. But I want to show you something in this same Bible, in the chapter 10. You see how we're moving? Chapter 10, verse 10. And the beginning of his kingdom was Babel. So there's a mistake in the understanding of the writer to say that Babel was called Babel at the time of confusion. You see, there's a bit of miscommunication there. But Babel is mentioned in chapter 10, not in chapter 11. So what does this mean? It's a Babylonian. It's not a Hebrew name, because in Hebrew, Babel means confusion. But when you go to the name, let's go to the let us go to the meaning of Babel in Hebrew. Let's get the meaning of Babel in Hebrew. Babel. Baal, sorry about that. There's some things popping up, so I can't really write clearly. Okay. Now let's see how to get this.